Hi, welcome to my channel. Guess what I got in the mail today? Yes, it's the Type 81 aluminum quad rail from Sigmaco Canada. But before we take a look, let's briefly talk about the Type 81 rifles. They arrived on our shore about 4 to 5 years ago, and I've been bitching about the lack of accessories of them ever since. Now, there was several accessories available, but the two major ones bombed on us, specifically the Polytech aluminum quad rail and the T81 side rail and side plate. They quickly became discontinued. So that kind of left a vacuum for bigger dealers to come in. Until recently, they did not. So that left a lot of upstart companies like Sigmaco Canada to come in, and I'm glad they did. And so they're making these aluminum Handguard quad rail. So let's take a look what's inside. And here it is. Okay, let's give you the stats quickly. It's made out of 61 aluminum. The coating is hard coat anodized Mil-A 8625 type 3, and it weighs 300 grams. And the lower hand guard is length is 17 centimeters. Okay, and the upper handguard is about little over 23.3 centimeters, and the rail length itself is about 19 centimeters. Okay, it comes with a Allen wrench, and let's see, and this one in particular was installed backwards. I think, don't know why. I think it may be to make it for compact shipping, possibly. So the finish looks pretty good. The machining looks pretty good. I like it. Now let's see the width. The width is about 3.5 centimeters. And yeah, let me take this apart. There is no manufacturer's name on this at all. Nothing, no model number. They should. So let's take that apart. Okay, what I have on this table are Type 81 that was manufactured. The blonde wood was manufactured in 2017, and the red wood was manufactured last year, 2021. And the reason why I brought the two of them, is because I'm going to try to see if this one, the handguard, fits on both of them. And I went on to Sigmaco Canada YouTube, and I watched their how to install very carefully, and I took down notes. I'm going to remove the 6 tiny screws. What you need is the Allen wrench that's provided. You need a slotted or straight screwdriver and a mallet. Okay, let me open this up. The design is very nice. I like it. Pretty simple. But first, I need to do full disclosure. I have never met the owner of the company, and by chance we were talking on a forum, And let me separate this. Yes. And this is actually the proper way it's supposed to be. Okay. Now if you go this direction, the length is actually 27 centimeters. So this is how you're supposed to install this. Okay. Oh, let's continue with the full disclosure. I took no part in the research and development of this quad rail, and when we started talking, it was already been designed and about to go into production, about to be manufactured. So I'm just strictly here to review the handguard, the aluminum handguard, and I'll give you my honest opinion. And I did, and I thank Matthew for sending it to me for free. So let's, okay, I went to the YouTube of Sigmacocanada, and this is what they said I should do. Okay, first thing first, field strip the rifles, okay, your rifle, and that including removing the cleaning rod. You don't need that. Okay. Okay. Once you field strip that, and if you don't know how to field strip your Type 81, I have a full Monty video you can go check out that covers the fix, the folder, and the LMG all in one. So you can go check that out. But first, get your rifle into a field strip. Once it's field stripped, now it's time to lower or remove the lower handguard, which is the wood handguard. And to do that, there is a screw at the bottom of the handguard, and you need a straight slotted screwdriver to remove these two screws. Now, this one was very easy to remove. You just turn it like this, and that came off without any problem. This one, the red one, redwood, not so much. I tried using acetone on the screws. It didn't work. I use actually heat by using a soldering tip, and what eventually worked is a nice medium screwdriver, okay, and putting pressure on the screwdriver, and then using a wrench and then turning, okay, like this, and that got it going. Okay, now if you need, and of course I had to put the rifle on a vise. If you don't want to put your rifle on a vise, then get another pair of hands to hold the rifle steady. Okay, so this is what you do. You have to just remove the two screws. Okay, and these screws are M6 by 0.75. Okay. Now you might have a difficulty removing these. Let me see, I can't even remember how easy was it to remove the lower handguard. You push the back of the lower handguard. In other words, it pivots forward. Okay, the back end pivots forward. So this one, let's see, oh yep, this is very easy, and this is how you remove it. Okay, and it comes off. Now don't forget, you need to remove the cleaning rod first, because the cleaning rod sits right below these support plates. If you don't, of course, you're going to crack this wood. Okay, so that's out. Now I've never done this one before, so let's try that. Oh, that's easy too. So once you, it was only difficult removing this screw. Okay. So they both came off pretty simple. If you notice the difference between these two rifle, other than the years it was made in, the blonde came with the blued metal finish, and the redwood came with the phosphorus or park finish. Okay, so now once that is done, let's start with installing this aluminum quad rail. Now Matthew says on the website that, not on the website, on the YouTube, they deliberately made this little snug. Okay, so I just removed the front screw. Okay, it's right here. I just removed it. Now he says it's really not necessary to use this, but you could put locktite on this. So I just remove that for now. I just put it right there. And these are meant to be reused, so do not throw them away. So here we go. I'm going to try putting this on the 2017 blonde wood rifle. Okay, it seemed to be going in. It's chewing up a little bit of the aluminum. And I think I'm going to have to remove that piece here just to make it sure. So expect that. Make sure it's okay. Let's try that again. Pull it up and okay, it's going down. That everything is in properly before I push it any further, and it looks fine, and continue to tap it down. Okay. I'm not going to tap it any further down. What I'm going to do is use the screw and see if it reaches. And maybe use the screw to help me guide it down. Oh, this is very tight. Okay, it says not to over tighten at this moment, and let's see, make sure everything is even. And oh, I see it grabbed some of the aluminum on the side here and has now peeled it off. And now remember, he has made this snug, so you will get some aluminum peeling off. So let me remove that so it would not to tap it down. Okay, now I'm going to see what it looks like here. Yes, there was some significant aluminum got removed on that side. Not too much on this side. Now, what I'm going to do is file that down a bit so it would go in a little smoother. I'll be back. Okay, off camera, I filed some of the basically the shaving that was pushed up. I filed it down. I want you to take a look inside. It's nicely milled out. here. A little bit of scratch mark right at the end here. Very little towards the back. A little bit there, a little bit here. You kind of expect that because of the tight fit. Now let me put this back in again. Push the front forward all the way, and then push the back in. And make sure it's yeah. Okay. Now the YouTube says don't screw all the way, and let's put this in. Now this is a little on the snug side. Okay. And let's see about putting the front screw. Seems pretty solid. The screw holds it in really well, and it seems quite solid. And let's see, I can put the front screw in. Actually, I'll do that with this rifle, but I just wanted to check out the fit, and the fit is pretty solid, and that is the reason why they. Now when you're making sure it's even, just check the back here, and about 1/8, and that's about 1/8. So I'm pretty level, and therefore I should be able to screw this down, but I won't, because I will do it to that rifle, make sure that it fits also. So I'm going to unscrew this, and I'm going to tap it out. Okay. Now let's try it on the 2021 production. Again, put the front in, tap it forward. Of course, this will be a little easier because it's already been mounted on a rifle before. Okay, so I'm in. Now let's remove it and see if there's any more additional scratches. Yes, there's a little bit more on the side, where this on the back here. Not too much on this side, and a little bit more scratching on here. Okay, I'm just going to have to file those high points off. Let's see, where's my screwdriver? I'm just going to remove it. Yeah, you can just remove it with a screwdriver. Just remove it. Okay, so other than that, inside there's a little bit of scratch over here, but other than that, it's pretty good. So let's tap it forward, then tap it down, make sure it's even with each other. And if it lines up with the gas block, and it does, they're even, then it's pretty well level. Okay, and I'm going to put the front screw. Apparently it's for aesthetic reasons. I'm having a little bit of difficulty putting the front screw in. I think it's because it moved a little bit too high, so I'm going to have to tap it down. That's it. Now it's going in. It's at an angle, so I have to tap it down some more. Now it's straight. Okay, and I'm going to have to tighten it up. Okay, it's a different Allen wrench. The one that's provided it's not going to work. So I'm going to have to go look for a proper Allen wrench. Okay, found one. It's 2.5 millimeter Allen wrench. Now, because I was able to hammer the front part of the lower handguard down, I would highly recommend you use the screw. Okay, because if it starts moving up and down, even though it's very slight, like 1 millimeter, it's not going to be good for your zeroing in. Okay, I got it in. See? So I would highly recommend you use this screw to stop the front from moving up and down. Okay, so now I can put this in. Okay, it's nice and tight. Now, if you wanted, it's nice and tight, and they recommend you use Loctite, and I would recommend you use Loctite on both of these screws. If you don't want to use Loctite, then get a hex screw. That's bigger. The head is bigger. It's a lot easier to put in, although it'll stick up, but it would be a lot easier, and you'll be able to use a locking washer. Then this way, if you don't want to use Loctite, get yourself a longer screw, hex screw. Remember, the threading is 0.75 M6. So this one is in, and like I said, the design of the Type 81 lower handguard is held in by one screw, which is the workhorse, and it is pretty solid. Now, of course, I use this, and I just demonstrated to you it does move, even so slightly, to use the front screw. Now, I'm going to install this, the top rail, the top handguard. Now watch this. Pretty solid. And this part, all these three are functionable. Okay, this basically holds the regulator in. This part holds it steady, and this basically prevents the head from moving too far. Actually prevents the regulator from moving too far to the left and too far to the right. So I'll get the regulator and I'll be back. Okay, now I'm ready to install the top rail of the handguard, and before I do that I have to put the piston back in. Okay, and to do that, make sure your piston spring is in, and that's your piston, and this is your piston extension. Also regulates, so you push this in like this, okay, and push it all the way through like that. You see it comes out from the back here. Okay. Make sure the regulator is either to the left or all the way to the right. It doesn't matter, but you have to choose one. And then you push this in. And it's in. Okay. Once it's in, move it to the 0. Move it to the center. Now you got that to the center, and you see these indents. The first indent on the right is for number 2. The middle indent is for the 0, and the left indent is for the number 1. Okay, so what you do is put this on 0, and this is where this part, the middle part, and it has a grub screw in it, and that grub screw will ride on the indent. The front end first. And it goes underneath this part. Okay. The top aluminum rail goes underneath this part. Now once you got that part, you slide the whole thing in. Okay. Feels a little snug. It's not going in. And now it's going in. Good. Sliding in. Okay, you're going to find a little resistance, and it tends to want to ride back up. Okay, and that's probably because of the grub screw. Okay, that's kind of pushing it up. So you have to push it down. Make sure you're all lined up properly. Yes. Okay, I'm all lined up right now, but you notice it's kind of springy, and that's because of this part. Now, all my holes are lined up. I'm going to take these 3 screws. About these screws, the 6 screws, do not put any Loctite on them because you'll need to remove them to get at the gas system. Okay, it's all in. And here it is. And let's see how stable that is. It's very stable. Very stable. There's a okay. I am done. Now, before I give you my opinion about this Sigmacocanada aluminum quad rail, I want to compare this to what I remember regarding the Polytech aluminum quad rail. And if I recall, the 3 major deficiencies of the Polytech, the first one was the major one, and that is to clean the gas system, you have to totally disassemble it, totally remove it from the rifle. And obviously, doing that would disturb the 0 every time. So that was a major one. The second major one, not so major, but it is an issue, a deficiency, is that if your red dot fail, it did not co-witness, you would have to actually remove the red dot to actually use your iron sight again. So that was a problem. It was the rail was a little bit on the high side. And number 3 was the weight. It came all the way past the gas regulator, and it weighed in about 425 grams. That's in comparison to the 300 grams that what we're looking at right here. Okay, so that is the reason why the Polytech aluminum quad rail failed. Now, did Sigmacocanada deal with that issues? Yes, they have. Okay, and first of all, to clean the gas system, you do not need to remove the lower handguard. Matter of fact, you put Loctite on these screws. Okay, you can just remove these 3 on each side, these set screw, and you can just remove the upper aluminum rail by itself, just to clean your gas system. And that is the major advantage of this over the Polytech Quad Rail. And the number 2, as I mentioned, this one does, believe it or not, co-witness, although it's not a third. I would say it's probably lower than that, but you can see it, right? You can use it. If your red dot fails, yes, you can. You don't have to remove the red dot. You can continue using it. Okay, that's number 2. And number 3, the weight. It's built quite strong. I can see there's quite solid pieces in here, and there's ribs inside, and yet it's 300 grams compared to 425. Now you're wondering what are these 2 holes are for? Well, these Matthew was thinking out of the box, thinking ahead. He's for those who feel the lower handguard. Those with longer arms would obviously want longer rails, lower rails, and so therefore it's an attachment you can get in the future. Okay, so having said that, I do recommend this handguard. It's really built well, and it's really rock solid. Mainly thanks to the screw over here that's designed by the Type 81, and the let's see. And now, is there anything I could suggest to improve on this? Yes, there are some suggestions, and what I would suggest for them to do is to supply screws, hex screws like this, so it'll be a lot easier to put in than that. If I keep, it doesn't have to be flat. This one sticks out, but that's okay. Therefore, I could use a locking washer instead of using Loctite. I would suggest supplying this. Okay, that's another suggestion, is that there is really some thin lines that running along here that's done by the milling machine. What I would like to see, I like that pattern. It's kind of hard to see it, but if you really look at it really closely, it's there. And frankly, I like that pattern, and I wish they would make it a little deeper. Okay, the grooves a little deeper, so there would be some style to it, so there'll be some design to it, and also would be better for gripping. And that's why I think they should actually do that. Make the machine, make the groove a little deeper, and I think it would add to the style better, rather than the squarish, flat design. Now, having said that, now these are Mloks. There's 3 on 3 sides. Okay. Now I installed a swivel just to make sure it works, and it does. Okay, so there's no issues there. Now some of you guys are wondering whether you could put this on the LMG, and I would say no, you cannot, because I can see the clearance between the handguard and the barrel is about 1/8 of an inch on each side. Yeah, and therefore I would say no, because the LMG barrel is much thicker, and so, and also the front ferrule is about 1/8 wider. So yes, the obviously they're not going to redesign the upper rail for the LMG. They're going to reuse this, so they'll have to build a separate beefier, wider, and that might be okay too, because if they make just the lower part wider and leave this where the 3 screws are, and not as wide, as same as width as that, then I think that's good. That'll be add another line right across here, and I think it'll be it's better for the design, not so flat here. So yeah, I do like the design. This brings the conclusion of the Sigmacocanada aluminum quad rail. I recommend it. Thank you very much for joining me. Please hit the like button and please subscribe.